I'm a classic man. You can be mean when you look this clean. I'm a classic man. Calling on me like a young OG. I'm a classic man. Your knees get met by the street, elegant, old-fashioned man. Yeah, baby, I'm a classic man.
University of Man.
Yo, welcome to the show, University of Man, where it's always a great day to be amazing, baby. I'm your host, Fred Abernathy, and my co-host, Mr. Irie L. Lewis. What's happening, baby?
Great day to be amazing, young man. What's up?
Man, God is good, brother. We above ground. We get to see another day. But listen, before we get started, I got to go ahead and put it out there. You was right. You was right. The Kansas City Chiefs, San Fran 49ers. Hey, but great games, though. Great
Hey, I was a little nervous that first half. San Francisco was getting beat down.
I
He
told
was going to go for it before the
hard
first
hats.
half. And another thing for you, I will ride with your boy, the coach of the Detroit Lions, anywhere. He could be in an alley. We can go to a corporate setting. I'm with him.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, man. I'm not a Detroit Lions fan. I don't like when people do that, man. They start talking about a NFL team and they be like, we. You don't even play on the team, man. What you talking about? So they were definitely balling. So I had to give it to them there. It was a little scary for your boy, but I looked at it and I was like, man, hey, the tenacity that the Detroit Lions had, but they couldn't overcome.
Hold on. We got to go back to the team that I really thought was going to win. Lamar Jackson, can't put it on him. They ran the ball 6 times.
Why would you not run the ball?
Of the time, it's on their offensive, their coaching personnel. Like they should have had a better setup for him than that. And he didn't run the ball. Like if this was your one opportunity to get to the Super Bowl, why wouldn't you utilize his best strengths? No disrespect to his arm. I think he could throw the ball, but his legs are nice. 1 out of every 4 times, we would have had a student body right, student body left, a sweep, something, right?
Absolutely.
And they got none of that. And they kept throwing it down the field. Zay Flowers, I mean, he showed up, showed out, but he was a little too much at the end. So
it's that same thing where a coach has to have that regret. Just like I know Mike Dick is going to always regret not letting Sweeten score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
And he let the refrigerated Perry, who was a rookie, a defensive lineman, score before the man that got you here from all the 70s. And man, don't get me started.
That's got to be a lifelong regret.
Curl not quite right. That curl looked wet, but it was dry.
That's got to be a lifelong regret. But hey, now you got Patrick Mahomes, who's the youngest quarterback to ever be in the Super Bowl this many times in a row. Like, man, that's a feat. You talking about MVP of the Super Bowl twice. This guy's been to the championship 5 out of the last 6 years. Like, it's amazing. So kudos to them, man. Kudos. Hey, great season for the Lions, though. Like, despite everything that happened at the end, the Lions had a great season. And I'm a diehard Bears fan, but I'm worried next year the Lions is going to come back with a vengeance. So it's all good, though. I'm ready for the big game, Super Bowl Sunday. Trying to see whether we're going to do something as far as Super Bowl Sunday when it comes to the men at the church. But, I'm looking forward to the game, brother. But since I did bring up the church, I did just bring up the church.
You did.
Last episode, we talked about faith over failure. And at the end of it, you did say something about what about tithes?
Right.
Tithes. So listen, man, tithes are the 10% that we're supposed to give, and a lot of brothers, men in general, especially those of us who work, who are trying to take care of our families, who are trying to take care of ourselves. And we are in this sandwich generation, my daughter called it. It's a sandwich generation where we're taking care of older people So our parents are in their 60s and 70s, and they need assistance, whether it be financial, whether it be how to work their cell phone, whether it be whatever it is, they need our help. But then we still got kids who are financially dependent on us, who still need our help. And now we're taking care of ourselves as well. So you're telling me, Ivory, that because this book, the Bible, has told us that I'm supposed to pay tithes to a pastor who's driving a better car than me, who live in a bigger house than me, I'm supposed to get him 10%, and I got all these people depending on me, brother. Man, you gotta let us know, man. Why would we do that?
So there's so much to unpack, and I'll start with this. There's a lot of books out there that talk about tithing, but they say it differently. Giving 10% or giving a percentage or whatever the case is to the needy, the homeless, whatever. And they do these things, and it's rules and regulations. If you follow the rules, no matter who you are, you're going to get the benefits of those rules. You're supposed to be a cheerful giver.
Yes,
Because
sir.
if you can give 10% to the church, all of a sudden the rest of the greatness is like unlocking the matrix. Like now you get all the goodies on the back end. Imagine if you're just working with earthly things, whereas you have angels working for you now. You have other things that are working for you in a different realm. And that's what unlocks it for you, being able to be a cheerful giver. And have you ever seen that the picture of what you think you want versus what God had in store for you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is why if you can continue to have what's called a currency. Why do they call it currency? Because it flows in and out, in and out. If you've got more money flowing in and out, and it's like going to a currency place where, US dollar is worth a lot in China or Asia, or it may not be right now, but in different small third world countries, it's worth a whole lot more.
Yes, sir.
So what we're trying to do is get you to create a currency where it's worth a whole lot more just by that little 5 or 10% that you're giving. And then if you actually truly give, your life changes. So, but if you stop it, it's like a ocean versus a stale swamp. Like the swamp has all infestations and nothing's moving, and you got sick. That's just what your life would be. So that's one thing. The second thing is don't worry about another man. He's gonna have to. Judgment day is not your day; it's his day. And
Yes, sir.
don't allow yourself to get caught up in certain things that are happening. And that's why I wanted to stay away from that third rail with that one pastor that hangs out with other people.
Yeah.
Because I can't judge him. I can't tell you, like, whatever you get your word from, whether it be somebody that's been on drugs, just got off of drugs yesterday, you can still get the word from him.
Yeah.
But if you don't take it, whose fault is it? God
Mhm.
sent him to actually talk to you. So, yeah, people get way too caught up in what somebody else is driving versus doing the principles and the rules to make sure that your currency is flowing.
Man, that's amazing. And the way you just explained it, phenomenal. And I just want to make sure all of our listeners know, hey, Fred definitely believes in paying tithes. I was just asking the question because I've had brothers ask me that question the same way. And the way I normally explain that is tithing. And first of all, I want to give you kudos because I've heard many pastors talk about, I'm talking about pastors from when I was a shorty, talking about paying tithes. And they always say paying tithes. You said giving. It's a difference between when you pay something and then when you give. Because when you pay, you feel like, oh, I'm obligated to do this because somebody's requiring me to pay them because of something that they did for me. But when you give, you do it freely, like you said, you do it freely. And that means I'm giving this to you regardless of whatever you give me back. It's just like when your kids ask you, when they get grown, they be like, Dad, can I borrow? No, because borrow means that you plan on paying me back.
Right.
But if I give it to you, that means if you give it back, man, that's kudos. But if you don't, I know that you won't. So that piece of giving your tithes is huge. But the way I think about it is as a contract. We just talked about football and all the players and woo woo. So think about the contract that your favorite player has. If LeBron scores X amount of points, he gets a bonus. If Patrick Mahomes throws for X amount of yards, X amount of touchdowns, he gets a bonus. The contract that God has with us is if you pay, give your tithes, I will open a window of blessings and pour you out that you will not have room to receive. A lot of times people think, oh, when I give tithes, that blessing is going to come back in financial blessings. He said, not room that you could receive. You can get enough money, but what about your health? What about your kids' security? What about favor in a job? What about the type of relationship you want? All the blessings that you won't have room enough. That's the contract. It don't say you have to go to church every Sunday. It don't say you got to preach in the pulpit. It don't say you got to be laying hands on nobody. If you do this, God will do X. And I think about the times the wealthiest people that we know on our planet, like Oprah, the way she gives and all of the blessings that keep coming to her. Like, whether you agree with what Tyler Perry does with Medea and all that, the way that man gives, you can't deny you see all the blessings that he's received, right? So when it comes to paying tithes, I look at it as a contract. As long as I do this, God is obligated to bless me. And like you said, though, you got to be aware and ready to receive that blessing and not necessarily think about what's going on with the pastor and what they're doing with the money and thinking. Now, if you go to a church and the pastor is balling out and the paint falling off the walls and it's cold inside the building and the lights is flickering because they can't stay on, then yeah, use some wisdom. But if you go into a sanctuary where, man, it's nice, you can tell that the heat is on and everything is obviously they're doing something right with the money. And even if they're not, like you said, Judgment Day will come for them. So that's
Now,
what that is.
can I throw that back to you? If you're called to that place and the paint is falling off and you notice certain things, maybe you called to actually be on the church ministry board to help
Okay.
them out, because you have sometimes people in the wrong places. You may have an anointed man that's teaching, but the people that are working with them are not. So you have to be in a position where you might have to stand up on your calling and help out where you see fit. So
Hey, that brings me to today's subject. And just so y'all know, man, out there, I never tell Ivory what the subject of the day is. I just give it to him on the live like y'all are. So look, I want to talk about, as a man, knowing your purpose. Knowing your purpose. And I'm gonna tell you, me and you have been through some things, man, and in our lifetime, I can say we have been what they call paper chasers. Well, we out there chasing that paper. We was doing it. Like, come on, let's be real. You in what, Thousand Oaks, LA, balling, like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I've lived downtown, South Loop, 24th floor, all that. We've done that, right? Chasing paper. But as a man, how does it feel to know that you are serving your purpose? Because, and I've heard Pastor Michael Todd say he had a message talking about purpose, purpose chasers or paper chasers. And I was really convicted when I heard this message about settling in your purpose or still chasing paper. Because when you're in your purpose, I truly believe that when you're living your purpose out that God has for you, the paper will just come. Tell me about
this is so good.
it.
So I was chasing money for a long time, and sometimes it would run away from me. And I realized that once you start falling into your purpose, then money chases you. And what I found was my purpose was as simple as being the best husband and father that I could be. That is the basics. Like, you know how certain people are just talking about, like, man, I need to find out what my purpose is, right? Am I going to be in this ministry? Am I going to be in that ministry? Am I going to be over here? Am I going to be over there? Simon Sinek breaks it down to the golden circle, right?
Who did
Your
you
why.
say?
Simon Sinek. He
Simon
breaks it
Sinek.
down to the golden circle. You can check it out. It's pretty dope. Your why will give you the purpose to do what you're doing. And, one of the best products out there that does this is Apple. You don't know any other reason. Like, Apple will find everybody else's stuff and then make it better, right? Samsung may have the best camera. Apple still has more people. Why? Because they tap into your why. They make it as simple as possible. It makes you easy to get in and get out. So getting back to what I was saying, for me, my purpose was given to me when I was 10. I wrote down what I wanted as a wife. I wrote down what I wanted as, the family setting, all those different things, and God gave it to me in abundance, and then some. Like if you know my wife, you know who I'm talking about. She's all there in a bag of chips with some hot sauce on the side, and you go through different things in life, you figure out certain stuff, but when like you said, settle down in your purpose, everything else around you slows down. And no matter what, if and or when I become a billionaire, great. But I'm a billionaire already because of the relationships that I have with my family, the relationships that I have with my best friends, the relationships that I have on a day-to-day basis. Because some of the wealthiest people in the world are very sad because they don't have that and they actually forgot about that. So I'm leaning on God to be able to put us on a platform to show people that this is possible. You can have everything in life, your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, and then have fun on the side. All 5 F's.
So
And
listen, I need y'all to hear that, because that is our number one focus and pillars that we live on: faith, family, finances, fitness, then fun, right? So when you think about your purpose, because this is really powerful to me because of everything that I've gone through in my life, as far as medical issues, as far as divorce, all that, bro. Like, what is, and I've heard brothers say this all the time, man. Like, man, why am I here? I have a close friend who's like, man, if that one more thing goes wrong, I don't really have anything to live for, because I don't know what my purpose is. And when you go through life not knowing your purpose, it's hard to get up and continue on with this grind. It's hard to get up and continue fighting the good fight. You know what I'm saying? But when you find that purpose, so most people know that, hey, I'm an insurance agent. I'm an insurance agent with Farmers. When I opened my agency, I could put my office anywhere in Illinois. And that means I could have picked the most affluent areas to put my office in, where the premium would have been way higher. But my purpose was to help my people learn how to transfer wealth and be an advocate for them in the insurance world. So that's why I put my office on the south side of Chicago, where rates are crazy, where people are always shopping, where it's harder to sell, where people don't understand life insurance. So now I got to educate them on life insurance, educate them on why they need life insurance. But that was my purpose. And now that I can be in my own office where I can talk to my people in my own voice and not have to code switch, the money follows. Like, because now I can live that purpose. And like, listen, when I
hold on,
tell you,
you talked about code switching. Can you go through that again?
absolutely. So when you know how code switching is, the phone rings. Hello,
We
this is Chris.
we know how code switching is, but
Well,
the
some people don't.
people
So
out there may not. So help us out.
code switching is the phone call comes in. Hey, how you doing? This is Fred speaking. How may I help you? But then when I recall, man, what up, dog? You know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. You go back and forth. But then when you walk outside, you gotta be straight. And, hey, how you doing? Woo, woo. You gotta dress a certain way. You gotta talk a certain way. But then when you get home, okay, you try to relax. But sometimes some of us are code switching in our own homes because we're trying to be something for somebody else that God didn't make us. I need you to understand what that means. Like, I've been at work all day fighting the good fight, especially African American men. You go to work, you got to be 3 times as better as your counterpart. You got to watch your attitude because you can't be considered to be the angry, forceful black dude. You got to be articulate. You got to be well groomed. You got to be well dressed. You got to be all these things. And then you come home to somebody who wants you to be more in their mind than who you are, and you try to live up to that instead of being who and what God has already made you. Brothers, I'm telling you, that's the level of stress that's beyond man's understanding. And stress is a silent killer. If you don't know, I promise you, keep listening to this podcast. You're going to hear my testimony about stress. But when you code switch all day long and got to do it at home, it's a whole different ball game, brother. Because that type of stress is unbelievable, and you cannot walk in your purpose when you cannot be yourself. God
Can
can't help you being somebody else.
I wanted to get you there because I was a code switcher for life. As a child, I was a code switcher because I was a little bit smarter because of my mother. But I don't know, like she had me reading books when I was like 1, 2, whatever. And I was able to, through what I saw, you can't be what you can't see, through what I saw, be able to have the intellect to do certain things. I was a part of the motivated, academically talented students class, and my class didn't have anybody except me and Dean Koontz. Dean, shout out to you, brother. And everybody else didn't look like me. And I had friends from sports that looked like me and other things. So I was the nerdy jock, right? So talk about code switching. I almost broke down one day because I was doing way too much. I was on the chess team, on the football team. I was also in the band, and the band guy wanted me to be in the marching band while I was on the football team on varsity freshman year. And like it was a lot. It was a whole lot to do. So when I actually had my breakthrough in life was when I stopped code switching. I'm the
Man,
same person at church as I am at home, as I am at work. I talk about my wife everywhere I go. Why? Because that's my purpose. So I talk about my purpose and I no longer code switching. If you can't be around me, I apologize, but you got to go because I got things that I have to do. So
man,
there you go.
there's no need to apologize because I no longer ever code switch. When you say I am the same guy at church, I'm the same guy in the office, I'm the same guy in the streets. I'm that guy. I'm going to be jovial because that's the way God made me. I'm going to talk about God because I know who he is. My daughters are my number one reason for living right now. So look, that's my purpose. I totally understand what my purpose is and why I'm here to one be the best father that I can be, right? And make sure that my daughters understand how a man is supposed to love you, how to be loved, and how to accept that love. Because a lot of times our people don't really know how to accept love, especially our sisters. So teaching my daughters how to accept the love of a real man, not just some random cat. And I really feel sorry for the cats that be trying to holler at my girls because they be like, man, if you can't step up to the type of thing, to the type of man that my dad is, and I realize, listen, I'm not trying to make your shoes easy to fill. I got some big shoes to fill, even without toes on my feet. Like I got huge shoes to fill when it comes to the type of love that I provide for my girls. Like real talk, cats has
You
got to step it up.
you and Dion, boy, I tell you. I'm gonna leave
Hey,
you alone.
listen, what I'm saying is like when people and man, you brought up Dion. Dion said when he was talking about being a dad, like I talked about last week about boldness. I could talk about being a dad really bold because that's what I do. Like, and matter of fact, on that message that Pastor Todd was talking about, he
Sure.
was talking about so much how, especially men and some women now, we chase our careers and money so much that we sit being a parent to the side. We've been gone for weeks, we've been gone for days and hours, and we've missed so many opportunities to be a parent to
Hey,
our kids.
you talking about Dion and being a parent and opportunities. Like this man's coached his kids all like I think Shador, he's
Yeah,
never had another coach other than his dad.
right.
So when he goes to the league, all of a sudden life changes because he's gonna have to go to a another coach. But
Unless
talk about
Dion go to the league and be the coach.
talk about Dion and some of the things that he's doing that's unprecedented to me at this high of a level. And obviously, I know that you coached your daughter in softball
Yeah,
and what that meant to you.
yeah. Listen, when I look at Dion as and a lot of people look at him as an athlete and as an icon. I look at him as a dad. Like you said, this man has coached his son forever. And not only did it well, but did it excellent. And when I say excellent, forget what his son is doing on the field. You can see the genuine relationship that they have When he does something wrong, when he does something great, when he does something average, Dion is very consistent with him as a father, and he's very consistent with the ear as a son, as a child. Like when I think about my daughters, I got a daughter that's a junior in college. I got one that's a senior in high school that has been accepted to all 5 universities that she applied to. Woo! Which have all been HBCUs, by the way. So I ain't gonna let it out the bad where she going, but I know I'm so proud of her. But when I think about every decision that, especially my oldest daughter, she's at the age where she no longer has to ask for my permission, but she always comes to me for the advice. Because as a parent, I've moved from the you got to do this to now an advisory role. And we always talk about the different things and how the pros and cons. That's why I'm saying, like, when you talked about your purpose as a husband, as a father, listen, that right there supersedes anything that I'm gonna ever accomplish in any job, company, anything. Every time my daughters reach a milestone, I'm there like, yep, that's my girl. And I can only imagine how you feel. And man, my nephews, when I look at your sons, man, I'll be like, man, did little Patrick just drop somebody off like that? Let's go, baby. Because when you think about why God put us here, to be fruitful and multiply. And multiply, a lot of times we just think about making more of in numbers and quantity. But think about multiplying in quality. So I can have a whole bunch of kids, but my kids can be crap. But if I have one kid and that kid is so qualified for everything that they try to accomplish, I'm living out my purpose.
So we've been blessed with having amazing children, but what
Yeah.
about the parents that do it all, but they still have a child that may stray?
Woo!
And I think we've had this, and I've seen it in my family. I know what you've seen in your family. You can't be a perfect father, mother, dad, mommy, and sometimes things happen. So what happens when maybe they fall astray and they don't necessarily follow the correct path right here, right now? What do you think?
One of the main things that I think about when it comes to being a parent, you got 2 things that you can give your kids: time and money, right? And unfortunately, if I give you a lot of time, I can't be out making money. So we may not have the lifestyle that you want. We may not be living in a big house with a big backyard, going on a lot of trips because we just don't have the means to do it. But if I can give you a lot of money where yeah, you can play all the extracurricular sports, you can go on all the trips, you can have all the stuff. Now you don't get the time with me because I'm always working. And I got a lot of clients that I've dealt with where they got $350,000 a year jobs and all that, but they're always working and they don't get to see their kids often. Then I got clients who, man, their kids is always with them because they don't have the type of careers where they can make that. You got to understand which one means the best. And as a parent, no, as a child, I had to forgive my parent, my dad. Let's talk about my dad. So we all got choices to make. And some of us choose to make the money to provide for our kids. Some of us choose to stay home to be with the kids and not be able to give them all of the things. Whatever choice you made, whatever decision you did, as long as you did it in the right spirit and the right love of your kid, it was the right thing at the time. Now, if you did one thing more than the other, you may feel what they call parent guilt, mom guilt, dad guilt about something that you didn't give or something that you didn't provide. But when your kids go astray, when they get to a certain point, I always remember that scripture. Every time I hear the scripture, I hear my mother's voice. Train up a child in the way that she go, and when it is old, it will not depart. At some point, as parents, we have to one look, did I train them the right way? And if you can honestly say you did the best thing that you could, you did the best job you could when your kids were there, they're not going to depart from the training that you put in. If they choose to do that, that's a choice that they made. It's no reflection of you as a parent. I tell my daughters this all the time. No matter where I'm at, who I'm with, that's home for you. As long as you're doing the right thing. But if you choose to do something crazy, that's no longer home. And I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel upset about it because I did everything that I could as a father to give you all of me, to give you the best life financially and with my time. Now, had I not done that, then I could probably feel a little guilty. But there's parents out there that have done the best that they could, and their kids still choose to make a different decision. You should no longer have that guilt.
The best advice I've gotten as a parent is show your children how to be happy in tough times, because the things that you say, yeah, they're looking at all the stuff that you do, and they low key know when stuff is tough.
Oh, absolutely.
And it goes back to our last episode when we talked about who are you in tough times. Your children will exactly know who you are in tough times. So just make sure that you're ready and prepared for that. And um, yeah, man, I think we had a great episode this time, and I'll let you go and close out, Fred. Again, it's always fun rocking with you.
Hey, man, listen. I love this dude like no other. That's my brother from another mother. But as we wrap up, man, we talk about your purpose and what your purpose is in life as a man. So, for those men who don't have children and don't have a wife, what is your purpose? Your purpose is to figure out in this community who you can mentor, who you can have look up to you spiritually, who you can have look up to you physically, who you can have look up to you financially. Now, if somebody's looking up to you, that means you have to be doing something good in those areas. And the one thing that I took away from the last couple of messages that I listened from Pastor Todd was, Fred, nobody can look up to you physically right now because physically you're not in the gym like you should be. Although I went the other day and I'm back on track now, baby. Let's go.
I know.
But can people look up to you financially, spiritually? Yes. So those of us that are fathers, that are husbands, your number one purpose is your family. Family first. After God, in our 5 F's, is faith. And we all know that we are being led by God. But the next thing is family. So if you can't figure out what your purpose is out there in the world with your career and things of that nature, look at home first. Because home is where your purpose starts. I can't really explain how crazy it is for a pastor to be the pastor of a flock, but not be able to keep their home in shape. If you can't lead your own family to Christ,
Always getting messy. Look at you.
how can you lead the people? And I get it, your kids could make another decision, but sometimes we have people who are just preaching to us out of emotion and not by the spirit. But find your purpose at home first. What is that purpose? And live that. Be the best father you can be first. Be the best husband you can be. Be the best son you can be. Be the best brother you can be. Those are the things that God gave you innately. Those are your purposes first. Now, the things that you do outside to provide, you can find your purpose in that. Absolutely. And I think that me and Ivory have found our purpose in our career fields, and why he's very successful at what he does and why I'm very successful at what I do. And we don't always talk about success being how much money we made. Because to me, my success is I own my time, which means I make my own schedule. I'm at all my daughter's softball games. I'm her number one fan. Most of y'all wait lifetime to meet your number one fan, your biggest hero and your sports fan. I raised my number one athlete. So I'm always there. I'm at her practices, I'm at her games, all that, because I own my time. So that's success for me. Figure out what your success is. Now, money is definitely good. Absolutely. But figure out what your success is, walk your purpose, and I promise you, if you don't hear nothing that we've said, if you live the purpose that God has designed for you, he will provide for you. And there's a scripture to say, if you delight yourself in me, I will give you the desires of your heart. Go out and delight and find your purpose, man, and live it and walk it. Ivory, love you, brother. See you next time.
Bro, I got one more thing to say, though. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, my man. What's up?
So you said something. You talked about having your time. And sometimes you have to have what's called seed money. We are not disrespecting people who have, 9 to 5s. We're not disrespecting people that are working their butts off, because I've seen my mother, my family, from, the education field to all those other places. What we are saying is that seed money.
Yeah.
We want you to get into a place where you're building legacy money. You can actually build a legacy through a business or multiple houses, all these different things, but you could also build a business or a legacy through saving money with the seed money. So if
Yeah.
you're consistently in a seed place, make sure that you don't get me on that.
So
Anyway,
wait. Now hold on. I know we extended the episode a little long, but listen. So Ira, you talked about seed money.
sure.
There's a simple place that people can place their seed money, because not all of us have a lot of disposable income. Would you consider life insurance a seed?
Man, your seed money needs to go back into you and your education.
Okay. When you say you and your education, what do you mean by that?
You have to build another. Like, there's got to be a place where at the end of your life or at the end of your careers, nobody can fire you. You own what you have. So your seed money has to be the education for whatever your love is, your passion. If you want to go bake cakes, go bake a cake. My buddy, shout out to Bill the baker.
Bill Asio?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Billy Cross.
Cross. Yeah.
He bakes cakes.
Yeah.
He loves baking cakes. I think he's going to be on a TV show and some other stuff. So figure out what your passion is. Figure out what your calling is, including in your why, and go out there and get yourself some education and go ahead and do what you're supposed to be doing.
So you mean invest in yourself?
Absolutely. The best investment on earth is yourself.
Man, people invest in all type of stuff, but won't invest in themselves.
Yeah.
Like, if you could spend $100 on a self-improvement, self-help, anything, whatever it is that, like you said, baking cakes, selling insurance, whatever it is, investing in yourself will pay off way more than any other investment that you could ever make.
Get a certification, do something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna let you go.
So since you said that, like, because my daughters, I mean, I've owned a nail salon, and my daughters both are licensed nail techs. And the first day was like, well, why do I need to go take this class? Y'all already own a nail salon. But we made them invest in themselves. Now my daughter, who is in college, she does nails on her campus. She's got a license and she can do the nails right there. She don't have to work for nobody else. She can make her own money. The little one who's getting ready to go to college, wherever she go, those nails are going to be fire. Because she got her mom's skill, then she got her big sister's skill, and now she has her skill. Like, as quiet as it's kept, her mom is the bomb, but she is amazing, and she does it faster. She does it quicker. She knows it. Like my baby daughter, man, she doing a thing. But yes, and also, so next week, let's talk about the difference between your passion and your purpose. Because you said go find your passion and invest in that. But some people take their passion and make it their purpose when their passion should be funding their purpose. But we ain't going to start right there. Hey, listen, man, folks, I appreciate it. Follow us on our social media at Ivory40, at Team Abernathy Financial. We love you, brothers. Remember, God loves you, and you are the only thing that God ever came down and actually made. So we'll see you next time. Love you.
I'm a classic man. You can be mean when you look this clean. I'm a classic man. Calling on me like a young OG. I'm a classic man. Your knees get met by the street, elegant, old-fashioned man. Yeah, baby, I'm a classic man.
University of Man.